Hello, healthy humans. Welcome to Inspired Nourishment. This is a place where I will answer some of your questions. Every week we have part of our community sending us questions, things that they want to know about lifestyle and healthy eating. And we, the team at Low Fat, Low Carb, is selecting a question to highlight. So don't worry, your question will always be in our bank of questions, and we hope to get to it. If you become a free member as part of our community, you can email the team directly. You always have access to me for your personal questions. But this is another way of trying to bring value to you and keep you engaged on your path to healthy living. So today, I have a special guest.
Yes.
Well, she's always special. She is part of the Low Fat, Low Carb team. You've probably seen her creating amazing recipes in the kitchen. And today I'm stealing her away from the kitchen to chat with me about our question of the week. So, Gab, what question did you choose this week?
It's about how many fruits should we eat a day, right?
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, everybody loves fruits. I especially do. I try to eat, apple a day?
An apple a day keeps the doctor away, or so we hear. Anyway, so yes. So that's a really good question. How much fruit should a person eat on a daily basis? Of course, like all things, when it comes to holistic health and nutrition, we're all unique. So I don't have one answer for you. But I will talk to you about fruit in general and what is optimal for most people. Yeah? Yeah. Awesome. Okay. She's shy. I'm not. All right. So anyway, how much fruit should you eat? So yeah, there's not one blanket rule. Fruit's definitely healthy. So having it in your diet is always a good idea because it's full of vitamins and minerals and enzymes.
But there's so much sugar, right? People try to say, well, I can't eat fruit because, there's too much sugar. So I'd rather not eat any of them and it will be better. Yeah. But it's not. You can eat some fruit.
Yeah, you can eat some fruit. And, of course, especially at Low Fat, Low Carb, we try to minimize our carb intake. So fruit are higher in carbs than vegetables. So, of course, for me as a nutritionist, I really encourage people to eat more vegetables than fruit. Yeah. But fruit does add benefit to your diet. However, some fruits are higher in sugar than other fruits.
Right. Which one would be the sweetest?
Oh, well, when you think of sweet, think of pineapple. Pineapple is super sweet. But all the different fruits have different vitamins that are beneficial. And
That's true.
You could use pineapple, let's say you have difficulty digesting protein. So there's actually an enzyme in pineapple that helps you break down protein.
Okay, so how much pineapple would you eat if you have that issue?
Well, I would say half a cup of pineapple with a high protein meal. But then you have to think there's also the sugar involved there as well. But because one of the rules is don't eat fruit alone. So when you're having, why? What? Okay, so because of just that, because one of the really key ways of maintaining health is to try and keep a very level blood sugar level. Yes, a level blood sugar level. So you want to maintain your blood sugar levels. And when you're having fruit, because it's higher in sugar, or anything that's high in sugar, like refined carbohydrates or candy, your blood sugar is going to spike, right? And then it's going to crash. Yeah. So we want to try and maintain blood sugar balance.
So, for example, I have a craving because sometimes, we eat so much sugar and without, in everyday lives, in meals and everything. So if I'm craving for sugar, it would be better for me to just eat, a cup of blueberries, for example?
Oh, yes. Blueberries are a good choice. The reason you want to stick to the whole fruit is because it has also a lot of fiber, right? So when you're looking at one of the things that we were joking before because I said fruit juice, I was like dried fruit, she's a bit laughing at me. But the thing is with fruit juice is that, or even applesauce or that's something true. That's pureed
with sugar.
Right? They mix them with sugar, but you're removing the fiber. And the fiber is what helps to slow down the absorption of the sugar.
So that's okay. I understand.
Which is another reason why you want to eat it with different foods. So
that's what we're talking about actually. To eat it with different fruit and different food. And not eat it alone.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. So if you have like a slice of, you know how they have cheese plates and they always have grapes on the cheese plate?
That's true.
That actually, it makes a lot of sense because cheese is very high in fat. There's protein in cheese. And then with the carbohydrate from the grapes, it actually balances it out. So that's why it's a good choice to have a fatty or a high protein food with your fruit so that your blood sugar levels don't spike. Yeah? We wanted to talk specifically about glycemic index and glycemic load.
Right.
So I don't know if that's a term you're familiar with.
Not necessarily, but it's something that I'm sure you guys would be interested to know. Yeah. And this is part of a fellow carb. We want to educate you. So go ahead.
Okay. So glycemic index, I have definitely talked about eating low glycemic index fruits and food in general.
I have a question.
Yes.
What is that?
Yeah. So the glycemic index is it's a tool that scientists will say have created to measure the impact of sugar on your blood. So the higher the number, the faster the blood sugar gets into your bloodstream. Okay. Not the blood sugar, sorry. The sugar from the fruit gets into your bloodstream.
How would you measure that?
Yes.
Sorry.
So there is a scale.
I'm jumping.
No, it's good. There's a scale. As an individual, you're going to measure it according to the scale. You can find it. You can Google it. There's PDFs on glycemic index. So something like pineapple, let's say, would have an 80. So the closer you get to 100, the higher
the blood sugar.
The faster the sugar in the fruit goes into your blood. So you want to try and pick things that are very low. The issue around glycemic index, so because I said there's two, glycemic index and glycemic load. The issue around glycemic index is that when the scientists, the mighty scientists, created it, they were measuring, and they wanted to remove as many variables as possible, so they were measuring servings that were 50 grams of carbs. Okay. So let me give you an example. What does that mean, right? You're like, math
50
and stuff.
50 grams of what?
Okay, so watermelon, which we love, which we have exclusive recipes coming up for you. Okay, so watermelon is super high on the glycemic index, but it's actually low on the glycemic load, which kind of is like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
So 1 cup of watermelon has 5 grams of carbs, right? Yeah. So if the scientists were measuring the glycemic index, they would need 50 grams of carbs. So they would need 10 cups of watermelon.
Correct. Yeah.
Would you ever eat 10 cups of watermelon at one sitting?
No.
Throughout
the week, yes.
Throughout the week, yes. But most people at one sitting would not eat 10 cups of watermelon. So it's unrealistic to say that watermelon is a high glycemic index fruit because the serving size is off. So that's why glycemic load is something that you want to look at, because they actually take the serving size into account. So when you look at glycemic load, so let's say watermelon on the glycemic index is 77, glycemic load I think is 4. Okay, big difference. Yes. 4 is actually quite low. You want 10 or below. So because the serving size is more reasonable, right? So what are some of the fruits?
Yes. What are the fruits that we can have?
Yes.
Or that you would recommend?
That I would recommend.
That are low.
Yeah.
The lowest.
Lowest. So I'm looking at fruits that are below 5 on the glycemic load. I will make a little side note. A side note that if you're an athlete and you're training, you want something that is a higher glycemic index because you want the sugar in your blood to give you energy. That's the only time. Okay. So are we still there? Yeah, we're still there.
So
okay.
What would you recommend? Like, what are those fruits that you would suggest?
Yes. I have a list. Like last time, I have my notes. Make sure. So number 1, strawberries. Berries in general are a safe bet.
Yeah, you see them a lot in low carbs recipes.
Yes, very healthy, high in fiber. So strawberries, apricots.
So good.
Very good.
Not dry.
Not dried. I prefer the fresh whole fruit. Apricots are also very high in iron. So if you have iron deficiency, this is a really good choice for you. The problem with the dried fruit is that you're really only left with fruit sugar. Right? So the concentration of sugar is higher. So you want to try and get the whole fruit. Grapefruit, cantaloupe, guava, if that's available to you, nectarines, oranges, pears, watermelon, blueberries, peaches, and plums. So those are, if you can jot those down, if you're taking notes, those are the ones that you want to select when you're choosing fruit. And I always recommend 1 serving, 2 max per day, okay? We were talking earlier, fruit is super convenient. I get it. People grab a banana. It's easy. It's portable. Throw it in your bag, peel it, eat it. But because it is higher in calories, higher in carbohydrates, you can get most of the same nutrition from vegetables. Lower calorie, lower carbs, more fiber. Yes. So you get a little bit more benefit from eating vegetables, and people need to eat more vegetables. Every meal and snack, think veggie first. Okay.
What do we have next?
Antioxidants.
That's true.
Yes. Why do we love berries so much? Because they're also
really high in them.
Yeah, they're very high in antioxidants. Antioxidants, so we have something called free radicals, but we can also just say toxicity or toxins if it's easier. We have it in our external environment. We have it in our internal environment as well. Antioxidants help you get rid of toxicity. So we want to have high antioxidant food, at least 1 serving every day. Berries are very high in antioxidants. So blueberries, blackberries, cherries would be also in the top of the antioxidant categories. The dark, think of really dark fruit. Dark red, dark blues. Very good.
So eating berries or eating fruit in general, would you say that it's best to eat it in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening? Because I know for myself that during like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I have, a low energy. Yeah. I get tired, and sometimes that's the time where you're gonna crave something. Yeah. So, would you say it would be best to eat those fruits then, just to give me a little boost of sugar and maybe energy?
I like your question. I love her question. Like all questions, it's huge. It's so big. Okay. So the 3 p.m. crash is very common. I agree with you. Would fruit be a good choice if you're eating it with something else, not alone? Yes, of course. I prefer that people eat their carbs morning to lunch. Midday snack, maybe, especially if you're exercising. If you're exercising, yes, have an extra serving of fruit. That's no problem. You're going to use it anyways. But in the morning, your cortisol levels are higher, and so your body is it's prepped and primed to burn energy. So that is a good time to have some of the higher carbohydrate foods like fruit. So could you have it as a 3 p.m. snack? Yes, better than having cookies.
Yes.
Better than reaching for the, chocolate bar or whatever. Definitely.
Or energy drink.
Or energy drink, yes. So it's a good choice. But again, it depends on your goals, depends on your constitution as well. If you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, You may want to avoid having sugar later in the day like that, or really managing your intake, maybe a smaller portion. So if you're going to have one portion of fruit, which is about 1 cup a day, let's say, maybe you'd have half for breakfast and then half in the afternoon. So yes, I like your question. It does give you energy. So as long as your blood sugar is, and you don't have any pre-existing conditions. So yes, we'll say that. Good choice. Okay. I have notes as well. Do you have another question for me? I like that one.
I kind of do. I wanted to know because you're saying diabetics. So for people that are diabetics, what would you recommend as well for, like, because of their condition? Is it something that it should include in their daily meals, or should it be maybe just once a week?
Right. Yeah, very good point. I'm going to stick to the 1 serving a day is healthy as long as you're eating it with something else, right? So that's super important. And there's different philosophies. Of course, there's so many different ways to approach nutrition. And some people are really adamant about eating fruit alone. If you have no digestive issues and you have no insulin resistance, then yeah, sure. If you eat it and you feel good and it gives you energy, go for it. But sometimes you might notice, I know I'm very sensitive to carbs, even when it comes from natural sources. So if I have, if I have a fruit alone, I'm going to that 3 p.m. crash is going to be worse for me. I'm going to want to just sleep at my desk.
It's to understand how your body works as well, because everybody's different.
Exactly. Yeah. So for diabetics, just really very, and they know you have to be very studious about your blood sugar levels. So if you're going to have fruit, definitely have fruit. 1 a day is great, but making sure you're having a fat and a protein and you're having the whole fruit. That's really important. No juice. Avoid juice. Avoid drinking your calories in general. Try to get your calories from food. So that's a really good question. And when you talk about energy crashes as well, the blood sugar levels definitely are going to affect your energy crashes. But sometimes the reason, and this is nothing to do with fruit, but I'm going to throw it out there anyways, one of the reasons people might be experiencing 3 p.m. crashes is because they didn't have breakfast.
Really?
Yes. So when you
That's interesting.
Yeah. When you don't have breakfast and you push it off, you're actually more apt to have cravings and sugar cravings. And you can trip up your hormone balance a little bit so that you get that 3 p.m. crash. So
it brings me to another question, but I think we're going to leave it for another time. Okay. It was about fasting.
Oh, yes.
Right? Because it is very popular and trendy right now, and since most people sometimes, it's not everybody that does eat breakfast in the morning, but
that definitely,
that's common.
It's very popular right now. Intermittent fasting, we were actually talking about it this morning, the benefits and who it can benefit. I'll segue that back into our topic of juice fasting. No, it's okay, because we can talk about juice fasting. So there are people that will have juicing, right?
That's true. I have one right here.
Yeah. And that takes a lot of fruit. And so some people will say, well, Patricia...
Well, I have a question for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Patricia, what?
Go ahead.
When you juice, though, you don't have the exterior.
The fiber.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not good, right?
Exactly. So
because it's only the juice that you get from the fruit, and the rest of it is
pulp.
Yeah, but what I used to do when I was using it is using that fiber and create muffins or put it in other recipes. So you drink the juice, but you actually get the fiber from it later on. Yeah.
So I love it. And so that's a really good question. I get it all the time. What about fresh pressed juice? Again, if you don't have any insulin resistance, you're not diabetic, and you want to go on a juice fast or do juicing, it does have benefits, especially if you have digestive issues or if you're in a chemotherapy and you're having a real difficult time eating, juice fasting can be really beneficial because you're like supercharging your body with nutrients. So here's the flip side of it. When you take the fiber away, it's easier for your body to absorb.
Makes
right?
sense. Yeah.
So in a way, it's amazing because you're getting like, 15 oranges in one cup. And all the nutrition. Yeah, it is a lot. But I mean, you're getting, so yes, there's a lot of sugar, but you're also experiencing a lot of the nutrients and the enzymes. The problem with store-bought juice is that it's pasteurized, so it's been heated, so a lot of the benefits of it have been killed off. But when you're doing fresh pressed juice or juicing, you're still getting a lot of the enzymes. It's easy for your body to absorb, so you get a lot of nutrition from it. But it's not for everybody. It's definitely not if you have any insulin resistance type condition or diabetes or pre-diabetes or anything like that.
What if you are interested in juicing, they use a portion of fruits, but they also add vegetables to it.
Awesome.
Like a cucumber.
Yeah. So still very good. I mean, you're still removing the fiber, so it's still going to spike your blood sugar. You could, if you're just doing a juice fast, then that's just the way it's going to be, and you're going to have to balance that and just monitor how you feel from it. If you do it and you crash after, well, then you know that it's probably not for you. Yeah. But if it's not a juice fast and you're just juicing at home, make sure you have something with it, right? Yes. So you have your full breakfast, have some scrambled eggs with some spinach and, some sun-dried tomatoes to add extra flavor.
That makes me hungry.
I know. And then have your fresh juice.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have another question for me?
Not yet.
Not yet?
It will
Okay.
come.
Okay.
We're not prepared, by the way. We're winging it.
So we talked a little bit about weight loss. In a sense, well, we didn't really talk about it, but in a sense that you want to minimize your carbohydrates. You want to have max 2 servings of fruit a day. We talked a little bit about diabetes and how you have to eat your fruit with something so that you keep your blood sugar balanced.
What are those protein that you would suggest then? Because you're always saying fruit, you should eat it with something.
Yeah.
So what would be those something?
What would be the somethings? Yeah, very good question. So fruits and vegetables are considered carbs. So you have the 3 macronutrients, right? Carbs, fats, and proteins. So when you're having your fruit, you have to think of a fat and a protein. So nuts, nut butters, olives, cheese, if you eat dairy, those would all be more in the fat category. Proteins, obviously animal protein if you eat it, again. So you could have like prosciutto wrapped pears, right? That's something, again, and you might see that. You're like, I've seen that in an appetizer when I went to some fancy event. Well, because most of those things are intentionally put together for those reasons, right? A date stuffed with an almond.
Those are good.
So good, right? And so you have your fat, you have a little bit of protein, and you have your sugar from the dates. Vegetarian proteins, we have edamame beans, we have...
I cook them all the time.
Yeah. And then some of the higher proteins. When you're vegan, a lot of your proteins are also a source of carbohydrates. So again, you want to just monitor that and just make sure you probably stick more to the fats. So like the coconut. So shredded coconut is actually considered a fat. So you could have, you could have some mango, which is a high carb, high glycemic load. But then you could put some shredded coconut on it, maybe even a little bit of coconut oil drizzled on it with some walnuts. So now you have a lot of fat with it. So it's going to be more balanced.
Good.
Yeah. Good. Okay, let's see. Smoothies. I wanted to talk about smoothies because we talked about juice fasting. Smoothies, they use the whole fruit. You can also add vegetables. There's still the fiber. Because it's been blended, it's still very bioavailable, so you're going to absorb the nutrients from it right away. but make them at home. Yes. Yeah. I wanted to just share an example about a store-bought smoothie and a homemade smoothie. Comparison. Yes. Okay. So let's say you go to McDonald's. Oh. I said it. Okay. And you go to the drive-thru because you're in a rush because you didn't have breakfast, and you're like, oh, I hear smoothies are healthy, so I'm going to grab a strawberry.
This is so common, by the way. Yeah. People are always in a rush.
Always in a rush.
So drive-thrus are the best, right?
They are. And, well, they're not, but you think they are.
Exactly.
So, and you think smoothies are healthy. Oh, my God. And McDonald's now offers healthy smoothies. So you order one, and a medium, I'm just going to go up, has 44 grams of carbohydrates.
Wow.
Okay? And just to give you a visual, 1 teaspoon of sugar is 4 grams. So if you're having...
Oh my God, that's 44 spoons.
11.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes,
11 spoonfuls of sugar in your smoothie.
That's crazy.
It is. And it's not a good way to start the day.
And smoothies are not big. I mean, they're a glass.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So 11... Wow.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. I didn't know that, guys. I'm pretty shocked.
It is. Like, you would never put 11 spoonfuls of sugar in your coffee.
Exactly.
Right?
Not even your coffee.
No. So that's the way you're starting your day. That's going to definitely make you crash.
Yeah.
Right? And because it's a smoothie, your body is going to absorb it very quickly. You're going to be hungry in half an hour.
Most likely.
Right? So if you make it at home, you can add, like, I love doing blueberry spinach smoothies at home.
That's so great.
Yeah. I hide the spinach. Actually, my kids know now that there's spinach in it, but when they were younger, it was like 3 big handfuls of spinach. Quickly put the blender on, and it's this beautiful blue, and the kids are like, oh, what is this? Oh, it's blueberries smoothie. You know. So you can add the spinach in it. You won't even taste it. You could have your blueberries. You can have, I do herbal tea, like a berry tea instead of juice. So it still has a bit of sweetness, but it's healthier. And if you were to do that at home, you would have only 15 grams of carbohydrates. Same size as McDonald's, right? So you're still, I mean...
And you're not adding any actual sugar.
No, not adding sugar at all to it. Yeah, just the sweetness from the fruit. So if you're a low carb, 15 grams, you might be like, wow, that's a lot. That's almost my whole day. So yeah, that's why we're saying fruit is higher in carbs. But just to give you an idea, you know what? Going through the drive-thru and stopping and waiting and ordering and paying and getting it.
All that time you could have done it at home.
You could have made it at home
for
a third of the sugar.
Yeah, that's true.
So
a lot more healthier.
Definitely healthier. So yeah, we do like smoothies. They're a good choice, but try to keep to the ones that you make at home. Yeah. Top 3 fruits. So I wanted to just quickly go through this because at Low Fat, Low Carb, we are starting to tailor some of our recipes and our content to certain categories, certain body systems. What are we doing? We're doing mental health,
gut health,
immune health, cardiovascular health,
and mental
health. So I'm going to go really quickly, and then we're going to shut it down for today, but I'm going to go and recommend 3 fruits for each of those categories. Okay, they're going to be low GI, low glycemic load, full of nutrition, and if it's something that when you become a member, you'll notice that not yet, but soon, you will be able to see which of these body systems needs the most support. So you could tailor your fruit intake to support those 5 categories that we just talked about.
Correct.
Yes. So
exciting news, guys.
Yeah, I'm giving you a sneak peek. It's going to be great. I know. We're so excited. Okay. So you can still become a member now, though, by the way, for free. Okay, gut health. To improve your gut health. So this is everything from here to...
love it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just honest.
Yeah, it's very honest. Okay, so watermelon, that would be one of the top 3 fruits that you could have. Really hydrating. You need a lot of hydration to help elimination. Hydration for elimination. So watermelon. Avocado you might not know is a fruit. And
we love it
because it's also high fat. So it doesn't really fall into the other fruit categories, but it fights cancer, high in fiber, high in antioxidants, and healthy fats. So it's going to help with your cholesterol. But it's also going to help with your gut. And pears. So pears also very high in fiber, low in sugar.
What about
Cardiovascular? Berries, we talk about. We love berries, high in antioxidants. They're going to support you. They're going to lessen the inflammation, which is going to lessen your risk of cardiovascular disease. Apples and apricots for the same reason. Very high in fiber. Mental health. So avocados, again, high in fat. So mental health is actually really, I don't know if you knew this, but it's very linked to blood sugar. So if you're hypoglycemic and you're have really up and down, you can feel more depression, more anxiety.
Yeah, makes sense.
So really what happens in your blood goes through your brain no matter what. So you want to really reduce toxicity and keep your blood sugar.
It's all connected.
Everything. Yeah. So avocados, blueberries, and kiwi. Those are the top 3 for mental health. Immune health. So your immune system needs antioxidants as well, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, and minerals. So I've selected for immune health citrus fruits. They're going to help boost your immune system. They're also going to alkalinize the body. So
that's important.
Very important. We don't want too much acidity in the body. Citrus fruits will help with that. Berries we talked about. And pineapple, because pineapple, we talked about eating it with protein. Pineapple can actually help break down deviant cells, we'll say. Yeah, so it's because it metabolizes protein, it actually really helps the body get rid of dysfunctional cells, we'll say. So anything
cleanse,
almost. Yeah, it helps cleanse. Exactly. Very good.
And then our last one is
hormonal health. Yeah. So apricots, avocados, and prunes. Very important for hormonal balance. It's hormonal balance is very linked to gut health as well. I mean, everything is interrelated. We want to make sure to maintain hormone balance that we have proper elimination. So you want to be going to the washroom every day because toxicity is reabsorbed into the body and then that throws everything off. So those are my top 3 picks for our 5 categories for healthy living and a healthy body.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
That was a great discussion today. And guys, don't forget to email us at questions. Questions at lowfatlowcarb.com. I mean, feel free to ask us anybody to ask her. We might do more of these weekly.
Yeah.
I mean, feel free to ask us anything. I mean, we're here for that reason, to support you, to educate you, and
to inspire you to stay on your path. If you have health goals, it can be challenging. We understand that.
Absolutely.
And the more we can be of service to you, the more we can help answer your questions and just give you these little nudges to keep you going, the happier we will be.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So
it's
email
inspiring.
us. It is. It inspires us to see you guys succeed. So we want to do the best we can to help you with that. Email us questions at lowfatlowcarb.com. Join us.
Yes, we do have a webinar on Monday. So that's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
It will be Monday, July 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
So we will actually, we're going to put the link in the description for you guys. And make sure that you register. Yeah,
come check it out. We're going to talk about meal planning. And, we're big fans of it, obviously, with some of the tools you might have seen on our website. We're really into planning ahead so that you have less stress. Because stress is... Okay, so we'll see you on Monday night. Thank you so much for joining us today for Inspired Nourishment, and send us your questions. We'll see you next week. Bye!
we met.